Friends, welcome to I'm building my dream garage update number 3. If I'm honest, for the time that has passed, the garage really doesn't look that different than the previous update, but a lot has happened. Also, this update is brought to you by Bombas Sock. Bombas is the creator of these, the most comfortable and perfectly engineered socks in the world. And Bombas achieves that status by sourcing the best materials for their garments. And then they engineer those materials for the perfect fit and comfort for your feet. As a matter of fact, on this channel, I have raved on and on about the honeycomb technology in the midsole of the sock, allowing me to wear slip-ons while riding bikes because it makes it feel like I've got a tied-on shoe. And you, like me, could experience that same sort of comfort and confidence on your feet for 20% off using my code SPIN20 at checkout. The link below, the Bombas website linked below. And feel really good about it because Bombas donates one article for any article you buy, 1 for 1, to a community in need. Bombas, thank you for sponsoring this studio garage shed update. It really helps make this place come together. So I think when I left you last for the last giant shed update, we had just gotten the rest of all the sheathing for the walls and the gable ends on, along with the roof sheeting on. And I think that's like where we left it. And honestly, like, for the inside here, it really doesn't look like it's come any further than that, because everything I've done doesn't really seem, well, just didn't seem like impressive enough for its own video. It still kind of doesn't, but it is progress nonetheless. So what has changed is originally just the roof sheeting was sticking out. I didn't have any fascia board up there. I built the fascia board with blocking every 2 feet in it. And then we did hire a crew to come in and put the fascia and soffit on all around. It's all black everywhere. I think at first, I wasn't really into the idea of all black. Angela really wanted all black. Now that it's on, we did the house as well. It actually looks pretty cool. It does look pretty cool. And I also have put the full metal roof on. I'm not gonna go up there and show you it all because, well, I'm an amateur and a lot of you have probably done this kind of work, and I really don't want you to ultimately, difference-wise from what you would have seen before, there is no other changes, but there was mistakes that I had to fix that were incredibly time-consuming. I almost didn't even want to talk about them, but whatever. So you'll see one hurricane clip right there. I started putting the hurricane clips on inside the building, but one, I was nailing through the big square nailing flanges that make up the truss, which didn't make sense to me. And after a little bit of research, found out that the hurricane clips should be on the outside of the building, holding the top part of the truss, not the ceiling joist. Immediately was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. So I ended up having to pull the entire top row of sheathing off of the walls and installing the hurricane clips so that they were actually against the top plate and then sandwiched in the sheathing again, which was a real absolute pain, but I'm glad that I did it that way. They're all in there securely and well and good enough now. So that gets you completely up to speed on what has happened from part 2 to part 3 now. It really feels like now the siding goes on, garage door, people come and install the garage door, and it's gonna be like 4 or 5 weeks out. Man door go in, and we can really start sort of messing with the inside. Like it'll be like basically ready once electrical. Gotta do electrical. But what I do realize is in the first 2 updates that I've given you, I don't think I've given you any true information like on the size of the place and mildly sort of what the plans are. So allow me to do that now. So it's a big square building, 24 feet this way by 24 feet this way. So it is a 24 by 24 garage. The really exciting part is the ceiling height. The ceiling height was not something I was willing to compromise on at all. I wanted to use the maximum allowable peak height for the building and do like a custom truss so that I could get the tallest walls that I legally could for our area. And what that resulted in was just below, like this ceiling height is, 11'9" or something like that. Like in a perfect world, call it 12 feet. We basically have 12-foot ceilings in here to play with. And it's worth noting those dimensions are really important. They are the maximum allowable dimensions for my neighborhood, this zoning area. If I go any bigger, like bigness wise, you have to go to an engineered slab. Basically takes the cost of the slab and multiplies it by 4. It's 4 times more expensive. And then there's actually no way around the height. 15 feet is the maximum allowable height. So that's why it is the size that it is. It is the biggest I could go for the money that we have in the laws and the area. Ceiling height is important for what I consider to be the centerpiece of the entire space, and that is the incoming 4-foot tall mini ramp for riding BMX in all winter. It's kind of the piece that really fits the aesthetic that I want for a space that I'm going to spend a lot of time in. But I also want to make sure that it gets used a lot for the content that will come out of this shed. So growing up, I always loved shows like Viva La Bam and like Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, just like reality TV shows like that. And it's mostly their spaces that they had that were constantly in the background that I'm like, oh, look at that. And while the show was entertaining, I always found they did a really bad job of showing those spaces being used for like what I would want to use them for. So I hope this can sort of be my like YouTube vlog take of that kind of space where I'll actually use the things that are in the background. Like they're not just there for show. Yes, the aesthetic is cool. And I recognize that like BMX and skateboarding is just not that in vogue anymore. It's not that popular. So, building a space like this isn't going to help grow the channel, but who honestly knows how much longer I have on YouTube anyway? I may as well just do what I'm into and have some cool videos left over from it. Like, yeah, I actually did that. These shows that I look up to as a kid, I did that. So this ramp currently, this is just literally built out of the scraps for building the entire building itself. And I really wanted to see which radius I would like for the ramp and truly how much space it would take up in this direction, because I want to know how much flat bottom I'm going to have. Cozying up on this, like midwinter, this thing 12 feet wide, some bombast slippers on. It's going to be good. It'll be 2 quarter pipes, no wood flat bottom, because I want to be able to possibly, if I need to, pull my car in here and still have lots of workspace. So that is the story for the back half, the back 2 quadrants, basically taken up in either corner with quarter pipes. Of course, the middle still hopefully very usable by leaving it just bare concrete. On to quickly, because this video is probably getting a little dry, the front quadrants, these 2. This is gonna get built out into hopefully a pretty aesthetically pleasing mechanics area, and then I'll have all this space to work in. I really want to spend a good amount of time on this and try and make it turn out like really pretty so that when it's in the background, people are like, wow, that shop is really pretty. And then the final quadrant here, this is just going to kind of be like a desk editing area. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's probably not going to be another update on the big shed for a little while, because it'll just be siding has to go on and then a door, and then I can start building stuff in here. But I have a feeling it's going to be still a long process.